then. Christ. Whew. Right, this is the review for Blackbeards Ghost. Cree, Crew, Vego, Gabba, Calco, Cree! And someone went and poof, bang, wallop.
Hello from Britbo and welcome to my review for Blackbeards Ghost. So Stephen sent me a message last week and said, I've got a review request for you. And I was like, oh, who from? And he was like, oh, me. I was like, oh, okay, that works. So his request was for Blackbeards Ghost, which is on Disney+. Never heard of it at all. So last night I decided to check it out. First thing I noticed, 1968. I was like, I don't even think I've ever watched a movie that old before. So I didn't know what I was really in for, to be honest. So yeah, I checked it out last night. I am obsessed, as you can probably tell. Disney, pirate, Goonies for a little bit of an extra addition. No, I am obsessed. I absolutely love this movie. Like, oh my god, I can't, like, I've just been telling my granda about it. I was just telling my auntie about it as well, and turns out my youngest cousin loved it as a kid, and so did Stephen. So yeah, so you've got Peter Ustinov as Blackbeard, who's also the voice of the king in Disney's animated Robin Hood movie. So his voice is just on point. He has the most distinct voice. Amazing character. He did such an amazing job of Blackbeard. You've got Dean Jones in there, who is the only character who can see Blackbeard. He was so handsome. I was convinced he was Frank Sinatra, and then when I looked into it, I was like, oh my god, it's not Frank. I've literally got a list of actresses here, because actors and actresses, because my memory is shocking. So yeah, you've got Suzanne Pleshette. She was beautiful. Elsa Lanchester. Now, Elsa Lanchester played the fortune teller lady, one of the old ladies, and she was so funny. She was absolutely brilliant. When she reads Dean Jones's palm, and then she just screams so loudly like that. And then when they're doing the auction, and she goes, sold for $200, and it's so loud, and the woman next to her just gets such a fright and jumps. What was great about her as well was when she was introducing Dean to the hotel and showed him where his room was, and there's this portrait of Blackbeard's wife, and it's the most terrifying portrait I've ever seen. Like, it reminded me of the bride off The Corpse Bride, and she's actually quite scary. Like, this portrait is scary, but Elsa Lanchester was quite terrifying in that scene. No, amazing. All the actors in this movie were absolutely amazing. So much comedy in there. I laughed out loud quite a few times. Had to rewind scenes as well, which the last time I did that was Old Dogs, which is also on Disney Plus, with Robin Williams and John Travolta. There is a review for that on the channel by me and Stephen. Like, that was another movie I had to rewind scenes because they were so funny. I mean, there's one scene where Blackbeard's walking through the door behind this guy, and there's another guy on the other side of the door holding the door open for them. So obviously he holds the door open for them, the guy who's alive, and then he goes to close the door, but because Blackbeard is there but not visible, the door goes, and I just found that the funniest thing. The car chase, where Blackbeard discovers what Dean is driving. It's a car, it's an automobile, so he's like, my turn, give me the pedal, and then the policeman's chasing them, and then man overboard. Absolutely brilliant. The music on this movie is stunning, absolutely beautiful. Like standard, like Disney 60s music, like amazing. I absolutely loved it. That could link in with the outtake, that's all I'm saying. The visuals for 1968 were unbelievable. The town village where it's set, that was just so dark, and it was dark, but it was pretty. It was so beautiful. Like the building where he's staying in, where his room is, the hotel, that was beautiful. Like from the outside as well, that was stunning. And also when Blackbeard first turns up, and you got the red smoke, and then Blackbeard appears in the middle of the smoke. And also at the end when the old ladies do the chant and Blackbeard turns up again, red smoke again. For 1968, it was really well done. It was amazing. Like I say, so much comedy in there. heartwarming. I felt great after it. Like, I was buzzing after this movie. I was like, oh my god, I need to talk to somebody about it. Stephen had already gone to sleep, so I woke up today. I've told me granda about it, told me auntie about it, and I was dying to do this review, to shout about it. So yeah, I would recommend this to anybody. Definitely a family film, I would say. No, I really enjoyed it, and I really want to watch more movies from this era. Definitely want to see Dean Jones in some more movies, so I might have to check him out on IMDb. Same with Peter Ustinov. Like I say, the most distinct voice ever. Like, I just kept picturing King Louis, I think it is. I just kept picturing the king of Robin Hood, and there's one part where he like fake cries, and I was like, I'm sure the king on Robin Hood did that. Exactly that sound effect. But no, like it's great, like the comedy aspect. I mean, you've got Dean Jones, who's in charge of the track team, and the track team are just terrible. And Blackbeard decides to help them win this competition. So obviously the opposing team goes to throw the javelin, and he gets his sword and chops the javelin in half. And then he's carrying Dean's team over the finish line, so they win. But obviously nobody can see him, so you've got like floating athletes left, right and centre, and like athletes jumping like miles in the air for the, what do you call it? That when you jump over the bar. I am not an Olympics person or a sporty person for that matter, so I don't know the names of them. But yeah, no, so much comedy. It was so heartwarming. I absolutely loved it, and like I say, it was a nice, wonderful movie to watch. Just as like a nice distraction, and to just take your mind off stuff, what's going on right now. So yeah, I will see you in the outtakes.
So here we are in the outtakes. Me, Britt and Carl have just done a review for, well, not a review, a podcast for the whole movie. So hopefully we'll be able to check these out together. Jumping into Britt's review, that is the picture, that is the menu screen when it starts up. It's Brittany's favourite picture of what she called again? Ideal. Teach.
The woman in the portrait?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I've got no idea.
She's something teach.
Yeah, it was something along the lines of that.
But yeah, that's the menu screen, so I said with Brittany I would chuck it in. So next outtake.
So here in the outtake, I've just remembered. So Dean Jones, on one scene, he sits down on the bed in the hotel room, and he sits on a bedpan that he's just won at the auction for $200, and he sits on the bedpan and snaps it in half. Now, me and Stephen went to Scotland just over a year ago now, and a very similar thing happened.
Motherfucker!
What the hell?
I just sat on the fucking bedpan! Fucking Blackbeards ghost and shit, it's boiling hot! Look! I told you it was cold!
I didn't see that.
Oh, fucking... Ah! So yeah. The thing is about that bedpan is I literally scalded my butt cheeks on that. I mean, it's actually my mum's house as well, so if I broke the bedpan she would have been like, Bridget, when you break everything, something like great, brilliant. But this review's not over. It's going to go a bit more wacky. Trying not to swear here because I think no one else swears. I mean, of course, it's a Disney film.
So that was Stephen reenacting Dean Jones, but a year ago. I've been Britbo. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I hope you enjoyed Blackbeard's Ghost if you check it out on Disney Plus or purchase a copy. Like, share and subscribe to the channel. Speak soon.
Wait a minute, this review isn't finished yet.
So, here in the outtakes, it's 2 days later. It's 2 days after I did a review for Blackbeard's Ghost, and I've just had a delivery. So, I went on eBay after watching Blackbeard's Ghost, looking for anything Blackbeard's Ghost related. I found this absolute bargain. I'm so happy I found it. Just grab something to open it with. I've just got a pen because I don't have anything pirate related in here. So yeah. So it It is. It's here. Wow. Oh, I thought it was sealed for a second there. Okay, so I found this. I think it was $1.99. It's the score to Blackbeard's Ghost. So there's Blackbeard, Peter Ustinov. Lovely colour red. I love that. And then that is the back. So I've got some images there. You've got Dean Jones, and you've got the auction scene there as well. Bad guys, Seymour. So yeah, that is awesome. I love that. $1.99 plus like $2.40 postage or something. I'm just gonna take this out. So yeah, just black vinyl. I doubt that they would have done coloured vinyl back then, but yeah. The story of Blackbeard's Ghost. Also, it's got the story on, narrated by Peter Ustinov himself. So that's pretty amazing. So yeah, eBay bargain. Like, share and subscribe to the channel. I've been Britbo.
Hi Tom. Hello. Tom Green's eating food. Right, okay, so Brittany's done her review. Brittany's done an unboxing of the vinyl, which looks awesome. And then we decided to do a podcast. We did a live podcast, and then in the middle of that podcast, Carl joined us. Carl hadn't even seen the movie, and then Carl sent us a review. So check out the podcast when it's out, the review, and that's Carl and Britt and just a cluster. I don't want to swear because I don't think anyone else has swore yet, but yeah, just a bit of a cluster. It's totally random. It's totally review, and I'm going to go back to watching Tom Green eat his dinner. So yeah.
Oh, hello there. Didn't see you. So my name's Carl. I've just literally finished watching Blackbeard Ghost. I don't know how this is going to turn out in the final cut, but I appear to have maybe slightly hijacked the Monkey Mason podcast. But I did say I've watched the film, having not seen it before. Guilty as charged, I believe. I was thinking of Treasure Island when it was first announced. So no, I was not expecting this film at all. So I've got the details on the screen. I've literally just finished watching it on Disney Plus. So it's got the synopsis, it's got the date and everything. So, you know, it's something of a film that I can understand how it's still popular. The first and foremost, the restoration job on it is fantastic. I mean, I know it's streaming, but this film was made in 1968 and it looks great. You know, the story, you know, is it a kids' film? I don't think it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, Disney doesn't notoriously have to be children's films, but, you know, this is a rating of a 6+, you know, so I'm thinking, you know, let's say a 7-year-old is going to sit down and watch this, and what's the moral of the story? Well, if it doesn't matter if you're good, doesn't matter if you're bad, to win you have to cheat. Yeah, that's what I got from it. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a great film. It does exactly what it's meant to do. It kept me entertained for nearly 2 hours. I smiled and chuckled through most of it. The slapstick comedy is perfectly timed throughout it. And so, when you consider what is this film, well, it's curses, it's pirates, and it's malarkey. And it just owns it, you know. I mean, the acting is brilliant, you know. Blackbeard is as lovable or as annoying as he's supposed to be. Definitely reminds me of a Drop Dead Fred kind of esque film. Of course, this came a lot earlier than that, so kind of Drop Dead Fred is more like this. But I love that kind of nobody else can see him. You know, that's where it becomes really a test of the actor who's playing alongside him, and I feel like he did that really well. The story is, yeah, I guess, like I say, it's a little weird if you consider a children's film of this time and what kind of the teaching aspects of it might be. Sure, I'm thinking a bit deep into this, but, you know, it is kind of what you expect. You know, you watch a film and you imitate, or you kind of look into, well, I want to be like that person. So that's why I think it's a bit strange. That's kind of my standpoint. I actually loved the film. I've never seen it before, shockingly. I think something that should probably pass my way. Sunday tea time kind of film. But I really did enjoy it. There's some things in the film that work really well. Again, going back to that slapstick comedy, they did it in a way that they didn't have to like over embellish it, you know. If it was deliberate, you know, they weren't trying to repeat the joke over and over again, you know, hitting you over the head with it. I mean, massive blockbuster Hollywood films get that wrong all the time, and for something like this being simple and the practical effects are amazing. You know, like the string work and the you know the tossing the ball and you know kind of carrying that ball across, and it looks great. You know, it looks cheesy, it looked hammer. You know, but it looked great. And do I like the film? I do. I really did. Um, I would say thank you very much for the recommendation to Britt and to Stephen. I probably wouldn't have found it as quickly as I did had it not been for the podcast. So thank you very much. And it's now got me in a little bit of a mood. Of course, I'm looking at some of the films, the particular films that might be a little bit of a down the same level of that, you know. So, you know, Treasure Island, good favourite of mine. And I think that's one of the beauties of Disney Plus. I think it's going to be a very childhood memory run this time round. So, thank you very much, and we'll see you again sometime soon.
And now the end is here.